Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Cary Bryczek, and I will be the moderator for today's webinar, Accelerating Your Compliance with ECSS Standards Inside Jama Connect. Before we dive into the content, let me cover a few of those housekeeping items. At the bottom of your screen are multiple engagement tools you can use. All those tools are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around and get the most out of your desktop space. You can expand your presentation area maximum to a full screen by clicking those arrows in the top right corner. If you have any audio or video issue, you can find answers to some common technical issues located in the help widget at the bottom of your screen. Please note that a copy of today's deck and additional resources are available in the resource list. Have a look at those and download everything that you may find useful. Also, the webinar will be recorded and sent via email, whichever one you registered with. Lastly, if you have any questions during the presentation, you can submit those through that QA widget. We're here to answer you live via the chat, so don't hesitate to reach out throughout the presentation. So welcome to today's webinar. I am Cary Bryczek, the Director of Aerospace and Defense Solutions. I lead up a global team of industry and Jama Connect experts. For today's webinar, first to speak is Martijn Janssen. Martijn is a senior consultant at Jama Software. He has been working with PLM and requirements management solutions for over 15 years and is very proficient in not only Jama Connect, but the Siemens industry software solutions, as well as PTC Windchill. He currently works on implementing space-related systems such as satellites, launchers, and space-related components in the European Union for our Jama Connect partners. Martijn is a specialist in both systems engineering and information technologies. And with that, I'll pass it over to you, Martijn.
Well, thank you for the introduction there, Cary. So welcome everybody to our webinar on ECSS. I'm very excited today to introduce you to the way we manage ECSS standards within Jama Connect. Over the past couple of years, we've been working with a lot of customers on managing ECSS standards within our solutions. And today we're going to show you some examples on how we manage to do that. So without further ado, I'm going to go over some of the ECSS standards, what they include, what the use cases are our customers face, and then afterwards we'll dive into the system and show you some of those use cases in action in Jama Connect. Let's dive in to the presentation. When we talk about ECSS, and I presume many of you here already are aware, but for those of you that are not aware of ECSS, ECSS is a European corporation, and it's a collaboration between the ESA, the European Space Agency, and many different other space agencies across the world to make sure that we have a single set of standards that we can use across companies working in the European space activities. Many of our customers around the world are looking to those standards, making sure they are compliant to them and working with those standards in different projects and at different levels. So ECSS is a standard. You can find a lot of information on the website for ESA around the standards. They're all there to be found for if you're not aware of them already. The way that ECSS is organized and set up is something you will see in the standards on the website itself, but we also have the organization within our Jama Connect application. So when we talk about the standards are divided into branches and disciplines. So you will find, for example, the different branches on the top level there. So for example, the Space Project Management branch or the Engineering branch. And below those branches, you will find a lot of disciplines detailed out per section. So and they are numbered in a specific way. Again, when we look into the demo, you will see a lot of those specific annotations come back, and we maintained that same structure within Jama. So many of our customers use a subset or a number of these standards in their Jama Connect application to make sure they are compliant and they are working towards the standards that ESA has set for these specific projects. So the main structure in here is recognizable towards what is on the websites and in the organization of ECSS. Outside of the actual organization of the disciplines and the branches, the disciplines themselves are even further, let's say, detailed in documents. And all these documents fall into one of those disciplines. So, for example, when we look at the discipline system engineering, you can see a large number of documents below that talking about different topics. So, for example, on testing, on verification, on referencing coordinate systems, all kinds of documents describing the standard, what you need to do to be compliant towards those standards. Now, these documents are pulled into Jama Connect, and as you will see later on, we have all these documents available for you to start tracking and tracing compliance. So the structure from a branch to a discipline to all the documents is something that you will recognize in the demo later on, and where you can find and filter and search for certain topics that are numbered and maintained by the ESA. All right, so that's a little bit of a background behind the ECSS organizational diagram. Now, when we talk about Jama Connect, of course, there's a lot of functionality that we have within the platform to support all kinds of use cases and all kinds of challenges that our customers face when they start working with or towards these standards. So whenever we are using those standards and the ESA or the specific project that you're working for is intended to use the ECS standards, okay, there's a couple of things that are very important for our customers to keep track of. So whenever we are working towards a standard, we want to understand whenever we change something in our system, we want to understand what the impact of that change would be. And that could be a change on the standard itself, but it could also be on the other side that you say, okay, are we still compliant to the standard? Whenever we talk about the standards that we import into the system that are available, okay, they have the similar functionality as all the objects that we have within our platform, that we can track revision and we can track change on all those documents and all those items that are available in Jama Connect. One of the very important parts of working in a bigger, let's say, consortia of partners and suppliers, especially in Europe, we find that we have a lot of parties and a lot of stakeholders within that project that need to collaborate on where the project is, what the compliance is to the standard, who is signing off, tracking feedback, and all those functionalities that are available in the platform will also extend to our management of a library of ECSS standards. Now, the standards that we imported into the system from the ECSS database is not necessarily the full scope of the regulations and standards you need to comply to. Whenever we talk about this mechanism that we now put in place for ECSS, you can extend that and make that applicable for many other standards and regulations. So, for example, national or international law that apply standards, but it can also be, for example, your own set of standards and checklists that you want to comply to. So the standards that you will see later on in the database are the ECSS standards that we pull in, but you can extend those a bit further if that is necessary. All right. When we talk to our customers and when we implement the ECSS standards within the Jama Connect platform, as I mentioned, all the functionality that we have within the platform extends to these libraries. So we can align our process workflows and the workflows that are in ECSS to be managed within Jama Connect and seamlessly connect information together and progress it through its lifecycle states. As mentioned, everything will be version controlled, so you have a good idea on what version you are working against, if something changed, etc., etc. So the ECSS library that we will show in the demo, okay, is intended as a single source of truth. So everybody that connects to Jama Connect will always have a view on the correct library, the correct versions of the standards that are in the library. And whenever somebody in the organization is looking for that information, it will provide that from Jama Connect. Whenever we have that library that people are connecting to, you can tailor and leverage that library and basically reuse that across not only one project, but multiple projects within Jama Connect. One of the most important parts is that we will leverage our live traceability capabilities, and we can link up all the ECSS standards to our requirements and or our verifications or any of the objects within the system, and start tracking and tracing what is the change on either side of that connection. So when we change something in the standard or when we change something on the requirement, we know that we have to check what is the state of our compliancy towards that standard. So the live traceability extends into that library of ECSS standards. Okay? And that enables you to better work towards quality and consistency of your systems or your subsystems or your projects. You can have nice dashboarding on what is the state of your compliancy for a certain project or subsystem that you're developing. And this reduces a lot of risk and uncertainty, and especially within larger dispersed environments. We see that our customers are sometimes struggling to keep up with the amount of changes going on in the system and to keep track and trace if we're still working towards that correct standard and if it still applies and still is correctly verified in the system. So reducing risk and these uncertainties is on the forefront of a lot of customer implementations we do. Now, whenever we have this implemented in Jama Connect and we are connecting this up to our requirements and all the different verifications that we have within the system, we can also leverage the review and collaboration tools that come with the Jama Connect platform. And that's very important when you want to start communicating, for example, with other departments or in a dispersed environment with colleagues that are a bit further away, and you want to capture feedback. You want to be able to sign off on some of those requirements, and you have the context of the actual standard that is driving that requirement or that verification. So very important to keep note of the fact that all the tooling that is available in the platform is very usable on helping you to get that process a bit more lean and efficient. And lastly, of course, our verification and